Look at that. There's always room for a random giggle. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cubist. My name is Bill Corey. I am the Cubist, and we are back. Thank you for bearing with us after a week off for Origins, as everybody had a little bit of convention hangover and stuff going on. But we're back, and it's time to talk Origins. But first, let's introduce. I'm just going to go from my left to my right on a little screen, so that way everything seems fair and stuff. We have, as of course, the Aquaman of the Justice League of the podcasts of, I don't know how this works. Mr. Brandon Kemp from What Did You Play This Week podcasting is here. Hello, Brandon.
Hello, Bill. How are you doing?
I'm good. Someday I'm going to figure out how to make this Aquaman joke without just sounding like I'm having a stroke as I'm saying it. One of these days, I'm sure I'll figure it out. It's never.
I'm just going to come up with an acronym for it and make you try to say that.
Moving on. All right, we're no longer talking to Brandon for a minute. We have Mr. Jamie Maltman, frequent contributor to about 412 podcasts, as far as I can tell. Jamie, how are you?
I'm good. I was just going to point out, actually, Brandon's colored like Aquaman. Look at that.
Yes, he's owning it. That's a good thing. We also have from Geekcraft, Mr. Ken Grazier. Hi, Ken. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. I think we need to get Brandon a mullet wig if we're gonna really make him do this Aquaman thing.
I am the new Aquaman.
No. We need the old one. We need the giant mullet.
We may or may not have a Photoshop vigilante on the case working on different versions of Brandon as Aquaman as we speak.
That's awesome.
Last but certainly not least, we have Ms. Kimberly Rivia here. Hello, Kimberly. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
We are apparently wonderful and slightly silly tonight. This is good. This is good. All right. We are going to talk about Origins this week, folks. This is going to be our Origins recap. We're a week behind, and that's totally okay. Maybe we'll pitch this as we waited a week so we could allow our thoughts to settle and, really think about our opinions and stuff. Yeah, that's not actually how any of us do this stuff, but we'll go with that as a sales pitch. So before we talk about Origins proper, let's talk about what we've been playing recently. This is Kimberly's favorite part of the show.
Kid.
So Brandon, how about we start?
No, don't start with me.
Don't start with you. Okay. No. Jamie, let's start with you. What have you played recently, sir?
Sure. Well, I can. You guys can vote. Which of these two games that I played multiple times on the weekend should I talk about?
I'd like to hear more about Century Spice Road.
I was going to go down the tie.
Are you guys going to break the tie? What do you think? I could talk about both. I could go really fast.
Talk Century. Let's build Emerson up. Come on now.
Emerson's really nice, and I did sit next to him for a few minutes playing Insider at the Blue Pig event. But so Century Spice Road from Plan B Games and Emerson Matsushi, and art by Fernando Suarez, famous for the Ashes art, which is really nice. And this art is nice as well. So this is the so-called Splendor Killer, which I've also heard the better name for it, which is the Baby Concordia. In the way that because the way that you're getting your cards and you're doing stuff with cards and building things up that way, it's a little bit Splendory, it's a little bit Concordia way, and because of the Concordia aspect, I really like that part of it, and I've actually been enjoying it, and I've been playing it with not just adults. We had a really cutthroat 3-player game after we played with my brother-in-law and his wife, and yeah, it was really cutthroat 3-player. We played 5-player with kids, where we had 8-year-olds and a team of a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old playing, and knowing what they were doing, and they came in second and third over the adults. I was still first, but no, it's really fun for that sort of light, quick moving, and it really is quick moving most of the time, even with my often AP involved brother-in-law and his wife. But
right on.
No, it's so I don't know. We're enjoying it. Like when they first got Splendor, I never owned it, but they do, and we played it a ton. And we would sit there not talking at all and playing Splendor, and Renee got pretty good at it. And overall, we did enjoy it. But I do like this better, and I think it's prettier, and I think it's more fun. But that's not necessarily the universal opinion, so I will put that out there as well. And then there's people that didn't like Splendor that didn't like this either, and there's people that. There's sort of all permutations from what I've heard so far. But for me, I did overall enjoy Splendor, but I do like this even better.
Okay. So we have you've compared it now to Splendor a couple of times and to Baby Concordia once. Which one of those does it play like feel-wise closer to?
It's because the way that you're building up your engine is sort of like Splendor, but it's not, because it's not reused. But the way that you're building up your hand of cards and the abilities that you have and how they can interact is like Concordia. But then you're ultimately buying these point cards that are not really exactly like either. So, and the fact that you're trading in goods to do that is what makes it quite different. Well, I guess not quite different from Splendor, but it's got that very different pacing too, where it's just, you've got 4 choices and it's happening very quickly every turn. So it's not exactly like either. I don't think it's firing one necessarily, but it is definitely in slightly heavier than Splendor.
Okay, so it's sort of in between as far as weight goes.
Yeah, it's not really like Concordia. It's just that the way that your hand is building up reminds people of that, and I like that. So that's something that makes it better for me. Gotcha.
All right, so it's the mechanics of hand building that are what make it better. That answers Ben's questions in the chat then.
And there's even a hint of Small World in that, because as you're going further in the track, you're putting out the cubes on it. So that's like, in terms of choosing something like that, you can get something really good, but you're going to be giving up resources that other people are going to grab. Right.
Yep. If you played Firenze, it's that same mechanic where you pay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Very cool. All right. So on the Cubist scale, buy it, play it, forget it, or burn it. Where do you put this one?
I would say try it. For me, I did buy it. But I would say for most people,
to play it.
To play it.
Play it. Try it.
Like, I love that every time we have somebody on the show, they try to add another category. The back of our next line of shirts is going to be just like 8-point font with 47 different things on the back of them that everybody wants to do. There's bling it, buy it, try it, play it. Yeah, nice. Very good.
Look at it from afar.
At least mine equates to something that you actually have as a category.
That's true. Yes, we can help with that one. Very good. That's awesome.
That's what I get for saying it before you said that.
No problem. No problem whatsoever. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, no, I'm interested in this one. I like the idea that it is accessible enough that we can get that you feel like you can have kids playing alongside adults, and it's open enough for that. Wow.
And it plays to 5 too, which is a little different as well, and good.
That's always nice. That's always nice. Very good. Very good. Awesome. All right. Next up on the list, Ken.
Yes. So I was one of the lucky people who got to get Caverna Cave versus Cave at Origins. And now I will preface this by saying I own Caverna. I've not played it. I have the broken token insert for it. I still haven't played it. But Caverna Cave versus Cave, Sam and I love, Sam is my wife. Sam and I love those 2-player square box games. So it was one of those, I kind of have to get it. It's really kind of clever. I like the way you explore the rooms and you excavate them, and it puts them into an open market, and then they can be claimed by either player based on the requirements for that room. I think the moving the tiles to one side or the other is a little silly, but it works. But it's also easy to just get some meeples after the fact and just go, I'm doing this action. Worker placement with actually placing workers. But it also has a solo mode, and I liked the solo mode. It's not, this, it's the best game ever for solo, and it'll clear out everything else. But it's a clever little game. I like it.
Very cool.
So I would say probably play it, because it does things a little strangely in some cases. But it's good.
Very good. Very good. I own Caverna, and I actually, in just a minute, I'll be talking about something for Peace for Odin. Odin has almost murdered Caverna for me entirely. Like, now that I own Odin, I don't really feel ever like grabbing my copy of Caverna. And Caverna in turn had murdered Agricola. So I am apparently the player that is perfectly in sync with Uwe Rosenberg's design strategies. Like I'm progressing right along with him, which I find interesting. Yeah. But the 2 players, like Le Havre Inland Port, for me was a major miss. Like, the app was okay. Playing it in cardboard was actively painful, and that's the exact opposite of how I usually am for games. Like, I really don't like app versions of games. I'm pretty vocal about this on social media. But for me, Inland Port was a miss, and I haven't played the Agricola one, so I'm kind of hesitant on this, right? Like, I don't know. So, but you like it, huh? So you said it's a buy it, or you said a play it or a buy it?
I said play it because it does do things a little bit strangely in some cases. But I think it's definitely worth at least playing, especially if you have the opportunity, which I know it's kind of hard to find out there right now. So,
Gotcha.
No,
Very good.
The artwork on that looks a little functional, right? Like it's not a very pretty one in the series of all these things, right? Like
not particularly. I would agree with that.
Yeah, that's looking at it on the table and looking at some of the pictures I've seen from you. I was just like, oh, that's kind of, it's there. It's not bad. It's functional, but it doesn't look pretty.
Though I will say one of the big things that is great about it is I built a sacrificial altar, and next to that I built a dungeon. So if that's your kind of game, you're set up for it.
Well, and
approves.
There's always weird stuff. Like, I mean, cuddle room jokes for days, right? Every time you teach people Caverna, the first thing that everybody points out is that really called the cuddle room? When it keeps sheep? What? That's weird.
I've never played.
Oh yes,
Caverna. Is it really called the cuddle room?
There really is a room called the cuddle room that you can build in your cave, and it holds sheep. Yes, so you can cuddle sheep. It holds one sheep per family member that you have.
So everyone can cuddle. Yeah.
So everyone can cuddle with a sheep. Yes,
that's adorable.
Yeah, it is adorable. And well, it's either adorable or incredibly creepy, depending on who it is and what sort of it's a little bit A, a little bit of B. I am certain that in the mind of Uwe Rosenberg, it is the adorable part. I am certain that he did not go to the bad place with it.
Right.
Very good. All right. Oh, gotcha. All right. Kimberly, because Brandon is going to signal when he's ready to talk. Kimberly, how about you?
I could go whenever. I just wasn't wanting to start with it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, I got to play the Climbers at Origins, which is going to be republished by Capstone Games shortly. Yes. And Clay very generously let us steal it from the booth after hours so I could get to play it on my birthday, I think.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I think it was my birthday. Don't quote me on that.
Close enough.
It is an abstract game for 2 to 5 players, designed by Holger Lanz. I'm going to absolutely pronounce that incorrectly. It's a multiplayer abstract, though, where you are using 3D blocks, and you've got a little peg guy. And you can move a block on your turn. You can move 1 block, and then you can climb your little guy. And your little guy can climb up what he can see. So it's essentially a half a block at a time. And if you're staggered correctly, you can continue to go up, but you can only climb up on neutral, which was gray in the one that we played. I think it's changing. And on your player color. And then you're trying to block other people from being able to move. And the who is at the top when nobody else can move anymore wins.
Okay.
We did say it incorrectly, but I still enjoyed it.
Okay. Was it a big thing that you got wrong, or?
It was a fairly sizable thing. We were only climbing a half step each turn, where you can actually continue to climb a half step. If you have stairs that you can climb up multiple, you can do that. So it took longer to play.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that would probably make a big deal. Hey?
Yeah. It made it quite a bit longer. Clay pretty much laughed when I told him. So.
Nice.
He was like, "Oh no." That's not how it works.
That's definitely not that. All right. So
wood, heavy, like the box is very heavy. I mean, not heavy as in play weight.
Okay. It sounds like a lighter, well, it's an abstract. So it's by virtue, it needs to have some sort of an accessibility, right? Like abstracts don't tend to be super rules heavy. Yeah. That's sort of the deal. Okay. So in Cubist terms, buy it, play it, forget it, or burn it.
I mean, for me personally, I enjoy abstracts and I enjoy the bits. It's one of the few multiplayer abstracts that I think performs it well. So I would buy it.
Okay. I
intend to buy it when it is available.
For sure. Does it compare to Santorini? Like at all?
A little bit.
Okay. I only ask because I've never played Climbers, and it sounds a little bit like it, like in that you're trying to build the...
Yeah. I mean, I think most abstract games tend to play a little bit similarly.
Okay.
It has a little bit of a Santorini feel. I think that I've not played Santorini with more than 2 players, but I've heard it's not great. Some people love it, but a lot of people do not.
Okay. Yeah, I've only played it at 2. So okay.
I believe we played the Climbers with 5.
Okay. All right. I was just curious. That was just this is how my brain works, right? Like I always try to games always sound like something else to me. So I'm 0 for 2 on trying to make those comparisons tonight, but there we go. Whatever. It's how my brain rolls. All right. So the Climbers coming soon from Capstone Games, or buy it for you.
Yep. I believe it is hoping to be an Essen release, possibly Gen Con.
Ooh. Oh, they're that close, huh?
Ooh.
That's awesome. Okay. All right. I'm going to end on something silly. So Brandon, why don't we'll get you in there now so that we have a silly laugh moment at the end.
It's not.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Horrible or anything, but
sure.
You're just terrible. That's something else.
I'm going to talk about Ethnos, the new Palomori game from Simon. I played that a handful of times so far, and what Ethnos is a area control game, basic gateway-ish area control, where you are playing cards from your hand in a rummy style. You're trying to have the same color, or you're trying to have the same race, and you're trying to play those out and put pieces onto the map, which is kind of ugly, and take control basically. And you're going to score over 3 ages, and that's how it goes. Basically, on your turn, what you can do is you can draw a card either from the public offer that is out there, or from the deck of cards that is face down on the other side. If you decide you don't want anything out there, or it's empty, which is the issue I have, you can draw. So the only way that my problem with this game, and it digs at me, and I've played it 5 times, and each time this has happened, even with mixed races doing, pulling certain ones out that don't allow you to keep cards in hand, is that public offer never gets refilled. So we sit there and we have rounds where, like 3 or 4 rounds, we're just top decking and drawing cards and hoping what we get is what we need. The way it's supposed to happen is when you play a band is what they're called, is anything you have left in your hand, you put in that public offer.
Right.
That's how it's supposed to be refilled. But that doesn't happen because half the time you're playing a band that allows you to keep cards, or it allows you just to draw cards or do things like that. Or you're just playing out as many cards in a band. You're just collecting 4 cards and you're playing it out in a band. And so you don't have anything to discard. And so this happens all the time in this game, is you're going around and that public offer just gets empty. And so everybody just keeps top decking and drawing and drawing and drawing and hoping that they get what they want. Okay. Ultimately, it's a 30 to 45 minute ticket to ride-ish level gateway area control game that I would just rather not play. I'd rather play El Grande in the beginner form. The 45-minute game that they offer in there is gateway enough if you want an area control game. You don't need to bother with Ethnos if you're looking for a gateway area control game, is my point. Okay. On the scale for the Cubist, it is a play it if you just absolutely want to. Because I know people are going to like it, and they're going to give that part a pass because it's 30 to 45 minutes. What does it hurt? When in reality, to me, that's just a kind of, pardon the word, a shitty mechanic. And Corinza and other people I've played with have been like, well, why don't we just house rule it and we just, put cards out there anyway? And I don't do that with games. It's stubborn in my head. I don't house rule games because I don't design games. I don't know what's best or what they're wanting.
Sure.
So it'll be leaving sooner or later.
Did you play it with any gateway type gamers, or was it all with people that played more games?
We played it with gateway type gamers, and we played it with others who have moved on past gateway. Our group is very gateway-ish at times. We half of us would sit there and we'll play number 9, or we'll play Century Spice Road, or we'll play that for like 2 hours while another group's playing Mombasa or something. So we run the gambit there. We've played it with both, and I'd say half the people kind of feel the same way I do, because it just really feels like Uno, for crying out loud. I'm just drawing a dang card.
Okay.
And I'm putting it in my hand, hoping I can play it next round.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'm actually kind of I'm interested to hear this. And in full disclosure, I was kind of urging Brandon to talk about this on the show tonight because I feel like we've heard a lot of really positive buzz about Ethnos from a lot of people that really like its accessibility and whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's really, I just kind of want to say this out front here, and I'm not backpedaling or anything, because I am also one that tells people on the show that if you have a negative opinion on something, I'd like to share those too, because I think sometimes those are just as informative as positive reviews, right? Like, I think sometimes if you know that your tastes align with Brandon's and he didn't like a game, odds are really good that you might not like it as well. So that can be just as useful. But having said all of that, I think that it's fascinating that this is, and when you talk about your group, you're talking about the Monday night group, right? The one
I'm talking about my Monday night group, but I'm also talking about my family, and I'm talking about whoever I play with, basically.
Okay. Yeah, so you've got a pretty good mix there. That's interesting. I thought that this was fascinating in how calm the production value is for a Cool Mini or Not game. Right?
Everybody's bashing the card art. I like the card art. It's typical old school. Yeah, it's typical old school.
No, but it's John Howe, like the Lord of the Rings artist, right?
I know. It looks really neat. The board is really uninspiring and just kind of bleh. It's like a blob there with lines to tell you where to go. but the art, I don't know. It's CMON.
No, it's not. Did they just bring wholesale brought this Asterion press version over and then? Is that what happened, or I don't know? Like, I see co-credits there, right? Like,
this is a spaghetti western. This is their Euro group, CMON's group that made it. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. I could be completely wrong, just from looking at it. But
because it does seem odd that it's them bringing.
What is Asterion pressed? Okay, but on the box it doesn't say anything about that. It's all just spaghetti western or whatever.
Well, and this is, and yeah, I mean, this to me feels like an odd man out in their product line, sort of, right? Like compared to the other stuff.
They are trying to do this.
Right. Yeah,
this is what they're doing now. They're going to have their big bombastic miniatures games and those things, and then they're going to have these Euro games, and they're going to try to be that company, and it's fantastic. I love it.
Sure.
But they missed with this one, I think.
It's a different Potion Explosion rather than anything to do with the rest of what they're doing.
Yeah.
But Potion Explosion was a good production that came over that they brought over. So.
Yeah, I think Potion Explosion survives as much off of the fact that you get to pull marbles out of a little slanty cash register thingy and have it make fun click noises, right? Like, I mean, well, let's face it, Potion Explosion is a fine gateway game, but it's an app in cardboard and metal form. Like, I mean, it's a match 3 game.
We like Potion Explosion. We'll play that more before I play Ethnos again.
Wow. Okay. All right. So for you though, you say it's a play it if it sounds interesting.
It is a play it, and like I was saying, the reason that it gets on my nerves so much is it's getting that pass because everybody's just like, oh well, it's 30 minutes. You can just draw cards, but play it, see what you think. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. I'm not going to play it again.
There you go. This game for me from the very beginning was sort of a hard pass. Because I don't like area control games pretty much at all. That's not my thing. I mean, I will play them occasionally, but I am, again, one of the, I would say if there are 3 games that I'm super vocal about not liking, El Grande is probably the first of those.
Yeah.
Right. That's the game that I've been the most vocal.
Ooh.
I know. We're going to have, Patrick and I are going to have a throwdown.
Patrick is going to cut you.
I know. We're no. We've got this. This is coming. There will be one of our next deep dive episodes is going to be El Grande, and it's going to be the Patrick versus Bill death match, and it'll be fun. I'm not scared of Patrick. I like him. I'm not. He doesn't intimidate me at all. I'm not scared.
Patrick is terrifying.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. No, but I mean, okay. So back on topic though. This is not the kind of game that I already knew I wasn't going to be into this just from hearing the basic description of what it was. This is not my kind of game. So yeah, to be fair, this is fine. But oh, cool. All right, so it's a play it.
I'm gonna call it a play it just because
sure.
I don't want to forget it.
Sure,
I'll forget it personally. I will forget it. But others, yeah, give it a try. Tell me I'm wrong.
Very good.
I'm a big boy.
All right, I am going to briefly talk about not a game but an insert. I received my insert, and Ben in the chat room will be very happy to hear this because I acquired this via trade with Ben. I acquired the insert for A Feast for Odin this weekend and put it together and put all my stuff into it from Meeple Realty. So this is the the wooden balsa insert. And I'm just going to start with the moose boat. So I want to start with this and show you the ridiculousness of how this insert works. So this is the first player marker, and basically that's the only thing this is used for. It holds the moose. This is as inserts go. I'm a big fan of spending a little bit of extra money to make gaming experiences a little bit better, right? Like I've talked on the show about, I just bought that playmat from Tabletop Companion, and I buy inserts fairly often, and I'm all about adding stuff to games to make the gaming experience a little bit better. And I like custom inserts when they are necessary. Not every game needs one. Actually, matter of fact, I believe Jamie has talked on social media and in channels numerous times about how the Colonist does not need an insert. People stop trying to make this happen because it's just baggies and stuff. Right, baggies and Play-Doh boxes, and you got it. And I actually
those little cups are great too.
Yes,
they don't fit in the Colonist box, but they fit in
the Muffin cups. Muffin cups do so fit.
I mean, those little. Sorry, Matt just came in and shook it at me.
Whoa!
This little.
Well, that escalated quickly. All right,
I mean,
Matt.
So, that's worse.
Kimberly,
little
you were talking
plastic
about the
sauce
soft
cup
cup.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Those little condiment cup things.
Sure. In a little bit of random cross promotion, if you happen to listen to the podcast Low Player Count, I just recorded they did their If You Buy One Game episode recently, and my segment was on muffin cups. So if you want to hear, yes, and no, that is not a nickname that was given to me. So there you go.
No.
In general, however, I like there. Hang on.
They're great.
Let's focus on you. If you talk, then the camera clicks to you.
Oh,
those are the cheap ones. Those are like the ones that they would give you at like a Vietnamese restaurant for the sauce, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, with the little lids. They're perfect for the Colonist bits.
Yeah,
Sure.
They work great for so many games.
Yeah, they really are. But for every once in a while, a game I just find setup and teardown to make me a little bit crazy. The Colonist does not actually have that because, as Jamie points out, you literally just grab the baggie that you need right now. You can leave the rest parked, and then you just have a little 2-minute moment where you get out the next one, next time, and away you go. Beast Rodent, however, makes me nuts in setup and teardown. I don't know why. It just does. It's lots of little things to track on. And so when Ben and I engineered our trade, I traded him a game, and I actually don't remember which one off the top of my head. But whatever game I traded him, Ben, put it in the chat, whatever game I traded you for this. And then in exchange, he placed an order and had me ship this. And I love it. I really genuinely love it. It is not only extremely functional, it all fits back into the box with no box lift when you're done, but it's pretty. Like, it's really pretty. Like, here is one of the trays where the silverlings are held. So this, and they made the effort. If I can open this at an angle, I'm just going to show you this. They actually put little extra etching into it to make the trays actually sort of pretty once you get them. And then you've got, oh, sorry about that. And then you have all the silverlings in the different denominations pre-sorted. Yep. So it's all comes sorted, so you don't have to dig through, because I will say that trying to figure out where the 1s, 2s, 4s, and 10s are, if they're all in one big pile, for my sausage fingers is a nightmare.
Maybe it's not,
huh?
2 piles. 1s and 2s in one, 4s and 10s in the other. But
all right.
I play a lot of Odin.
I struggle with that all the time. I have no idea, but I don't know why. It's just my thing. I really like this insert. I think that it's really going to come down to, as far as giving it a rating on buy it, play it, forget it, or burn it. If you don't like inserts and you think they're a waste of money, then this is not going to change your mind. But if you like custom inserts and this is a game that you are going to get out on the regular, then this is a really, really good one. Like, I think this is, design-wise, this is a perfect marriage of functionality and form, where it all fits together really well. It comes out of the box really easily. It definitely speeds up setup time by a reasonably large margin. At least I thought it did. I really dig it. So for me, if you like inserts, this is a buy it. And every insert sort of conditional on that. So
I do have 2 questions for you about that one,
Sure.
actually, Bill. One, what did you think of the little boxes for your meeples?
Oh, the little slide. The player pieces come in a tiny little wooden box that has a sliding top. probably the least useful part of the insert, but it's fine. Like, I mean,
I tend to agree.
yeah, but they're cool, you know, and
Yeah.
whatever. It's not, if you're going to have in for a penny, in for a pound, right? You're doing an insert for every other piece, so why not? No big deal.
Right. No, and it fits really nicely, and it makes everything fit nicely in the box. But actually, to comment on what you just said, it doesn't include things for everything in a game because you still use the original plastic trays.
That's true.
And
That's true.
like, I know it's a silly thing, and I know it's a petty thing, but that bugs me.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
They're good. They work really, really well as it.
See, I have one that works really well, and I have one that the lid is, I think it has a restraining order on the bottom of the piece. So they just will not play nice.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah,
So-
I don't. That does not bother me at all, and I don't know why. I mean, it's because in general, I'm sort of with you on this, right? Like, I would have if it had included its own trays, so that way everything was wood. I think that it would have been slightly more pleasing from a completionist side of things, but I think it's fine. I'm not going to notice the difference on it. Like, it's from a gameplay standpoint, it's fine. You pull everything out.
Yeah. No, and that's just wanted to ask.
Yep. Yeah. No, I guess the little OCD side of my brain would like it if it was all wood, but in the end of the day, it totally works. So I dig it. All right. Let's go into Origins. Okay, so we're 3-2, right? 3 of us were at Origins, 2 of us were experiencing hardcore amounts of FOMO and just being sad that we couldn't be there. So let's talk Origins. First off, what was your big moment for Origins? So I don't know, Kimberly's birthday? Kimberly, was your birthday a big moment?
I got old.
Yes, you were already old. You got older.
Failure.
I know, I'm terrible. No, whatever. I'm the guy with the wizard beard. Remember? You're good. So no, but I mean, was there was that a defining moment? That was awesome, by the way, that everybody put together a birthday party for you at Origins.
That was very sweet. Yes,
including a celiac friendly birthday cake. Very.
I know. Yes, that tall boy is very cute.
Yes,
He orchestrated the whole gluten-free cake, and that lovely Patrick picked it up and set up lays for everyone.
I thought Patrick was terrifying. Is he lovely or terrifying? You have to pick.
I mean, can't he be both?
I suppose. I suppose.
The Punchboard Media launch party was good.
Yes, this. I was trying to toss you guys a softball for this one, but this was your big event. This was the idea. Like, hey, wasn't that a big deal?
They were just going to ignore that one.
Yeah. So yes, Punchboard Media's launch party was there, and Kimberly, as official representative of the Cubist, thank you for representing. But there were shirts at it, right? How many Cubist shirts got worn at the party?
Oh, Jammers.
There was a couple, right?
Eric
wore his, yes, and
Eric wore his.
Didn't Patrick wear his as well?
I don't know. Patrick switched his t-shirt so many times.
He really did. He had like
I'm
a
pretty
massive
sure Matt wore his the next day, or no, Matt wore his that day. I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
Excellent.
Yeah, there was at least one.
Very good. All right, so that's awesome, and there was lots of swag. As a matter of fact, there are some prizes that are coming from that. We will be doing a giveaway probably on the next episode. As soon as we get all the things ironed out, I think we get to give away something from Stronghold, if I recall correctly. I just caught myself off guard.
I know which one it is.
Yep. Tune in next week. We're gonna do a big giveaway. So tell your friends, we'll give away some fun stuff next week. There's your spoiler. Or your teaser, I'm sorry. So that was cool.
Not much of a spoiler.
Yeah, quite. All right.
Spoilers. We're gonna get
spoilers. We're not going to tell you
There
stuff. There you go. Whatever.
In the future, things will be told.
I may or may not be dealing with the allergy season that I didn't know I had this year, and so I'd be hopped up on a bunch of cold meds. It'd be nice to me, damn it. So, all right, what was the big piece of news for you guys? Jamie, how about you?
Big piece of news?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, for me, my big thing for the whole convention was just meeting so many people, because I'd met maybe, like I literally, there was something like 75 people that I interact with fairly regularly online, or have, multiple times online, that I met for the first time. That was amazing. Like that was so much fun. That was my whole point of coming. I wasn't really focused on games, though I have games I can talk about. But it was really getting to meet, two of the people that are on this here and hang out with you guys and eat with you guys and play games, and it was just awesome. Like, I love that. Hey, that was fantastic too. One of my cool moments, was because I went over to the North Market with Ken and his wife and Eric the day before, and he was trying to talk me into getting ice cream, and I'm not an ice cream person, but he's like, no, but the sorbet is really good too. And then when we got there, it was crossed out. It was already done for the day. Yeah. So then the next day, he messaged me and he said, how does hard cider sorbet sound? And I said, that sounds really good. And I was waiting because I was going to eat lunch at Kimberly's birthday, so I hadn't really eaten as much as I should have by that point of the day. And Ken, being the awesome guy that he is, brought it over to me while we were playing Concordia, and I had that, and it was fantastic. So the Jenny's hard cider sorbet, so good. Ken, even better.
Hard cider sorbet sounds basically like
hard apple cider sorbet.
Yeah, so booze and ice cream. I mean, it's not ice cream. I get it, but
it sounds like you take a cider and freeze it.
And a bit of applesauce texture mixed into there too, like just a tiny bit.
That's not helping. Yeah.
No, that was good. It was a good thing.
He's right, and I see his point. It wasn't for me, but I love a lot of what else Jenny's does, so I was still happy. I didn't care.
Oh, this actually makes my heart hurt a little bit that I wasn't there. Like, this is the thing that I want.
I love ice cream and sorbet.
Yes.
Bill, you come visit Cleveland. We will do Melt, and we will do Jenny's, and then you'll just take a nap.
Oh, I forgot to go to Melt this year.
I've been trying to figure out an excuse to get to Cleveland anyway. I think I just got one.
So who ate the Reverend?
What?
Apparently, John Gilmore did.
John did. Good. Someone did.
Oh my God!
The giant thing from Melt. Yeah, John got it. I saw that.
That's a monstrosity.
I would say a little bit of backstory for those of us that might have missed this. What is this?
So Melt is a grilled cheese mecca, basically. There's 5 of them in my area, but there's actually one down near Columbus. And they do a monthly special. And this month's special it's the Reverend, I don't remember the full name of it.
It's named after the Reverend Horton Heat.
There you go.
He was a musician, but I forgot what the name of the sandwich is.
Right. Yeah. So they make 2 grilled cheese sandwiches, just cheese on bread, and then they take those and they batter them and they deep fry them, because those are going to be the outside to the 2 beef patties, a bunch of bacon, and 3 slices of American cheese that are in the middle of the sandwich. Which, oh my God!
There's a restaurant chain up here that sells them too. They call it the triple bypass up here. And
that's a more accurate description.
It's the exact same thing. It's amazing. I have had it before, and it's ridiculous. Lordy Lou. So good. John Gilmore, you are a man after my own heart. I absolutely.
He posted a picture with his hand for scale. Yeah. The thing is ridiculous.
He does not.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
You can see it, and just the monstrosity that is. And yeah, I mean, I like a lot of what Melt does, but that one just like, no, I'm good, thanks.
Oh my God!
And
that
if
looks
you
like the best.
If you want, there is a vegetarian version available.
Well, that's just weird.
Or at least it says vegetarian available. It might be an extra topping. I'm not sure.
And a whole vegetarian that you add.
It's not going to increase the size of that thing that much.
I mean,
a little gamey, but other than that, yeah.
A little gamey is what happens when you add meatballs to your burger.
Oh boy. That's amazing. I would eat that. I would eat that every day. There is a reason that I am a large man, and it is because things like that exist in the world, and then I have to eat them. That's exactly how that works. All right. So that was and back to Jamie's original point. That's always the joy of conventions, right? Like, is the fact that this is the time when all of us that see each other's beautiful faces through the computers actually get to see each other in person. And we don't have to just settle for playing a game on a website. We can actually sit down and shoot the breeze and have ridiculous food together and have stories, or not so much ridiculous food. Like, I'm sorry, but that hard cider sorbet is supposed to in my head. No.
By comparison, I had a falafel raptor with Jamie here.
Falafel raptor.
And that
I'd never eat it.
Name. That's great. Falafel.
That's the best name. It's falafel and like steamed kale or something.
This is a Raptors shirt, so I just think that's awesome.
I feel like the internet would have called it a falafel copter, Just,
Yep.
but I love it. Very good.
It's a wrap. It's wrapped in like steamed kale leaves or something. It's amazing. It's really good. And that is the balance of how I eat at conventions versus some other people.
Hey, my lamb burger there was good too.
Bear Burger, right? Bear Burger?
Right across the street.
Okay.
Yeah. Bear Burger's really good.
The lamb burger I had there was fantastic too. So.
I had never had falafel until I went and visited Kimberly for G2S. That was the first time I'd ever had it.
And it was so good.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I absolutely would eat
it.
Yeah. That was ridiculously good. Were there any, what was the, all right, so let's actually talk games for a minute here because it's a game convention. I feel like it's weird that we haven't talked about a single game since we started talking about Origins. Or specifically, was there a standout? Was there one thing that was your big standout at Origins game moment?
One game that was our big standout?
Yeah.
Ooh.
For me, I barely played any new games. I played lots of old games, and I had some standout old games that I could talk about too. But in terms of, like, I think I only played 3 either new release, actually no, 2, and 1 I didn't even play the full game of, and then I saw a demo of another one. So the 3 that I saw were Codenames Duet is fantastic.
It is.
I got to play 4. We were playing like 4-on-3, something like that. Travis was on the other side. Chris Kirkman was on my side, and it was really fun. We were playing on the big cards too, but that is a really, really good combination. And like the way that they tweaked the rules, it makes it much more gamery, and 2-player is amazing. And I saw one of the funny moments of the con was when Marty from Rolling Dice and Taking Names grabbed Rodney from Watch It Played and Joel Eddy and said, "Guys, you got to play this right now." And then the CTE guys came over to teach them, and Marty's like, "No," and he pushed them away and taught them how to play it. And then just watching those guys, Watch It Played and drive-through reviews, getting taught a game, not by the people of the company, was an amusing moment, but they really enjoyed it too. So
I can absolutely see Marty being like, "Nope, get out of here. I got this. And never mind that this is your job, and this is literally your entire purpose for being in this room. I got this." There you go. Yeah,
but that is a great version.
Codenames Duet. Yeah, I'm excited.
It is. It's an interest. It's intense.
Yeah.
All right, help us out. Some of us weren't there. What does that mean?
It's like you see your assassins and your partner. You're obviously trying to solve the same thing. Has assassins, but they aren't necessarily the same. I think one of yours is green for them, and vice versa.
There's 3 assassins. That's what she's saying.
Yeah, on each side. So eventually you have to guess a word that looks like an assassin on your side because it's not for them, which is a total mind because you don't want to touch the thing that looks like an assassin. You're like,
right. You've been trained to not go anywhere near.
I'm not sure how I feel about this.
Yeah,
it's intense.
Yeah, it's also like in regular Codenames, I find that if both teams are kind of going slowish, it's not a ton of pressure. Like it's just oh no, we'll have a good time, and it's still fun, but it doesn't have that edge to it. Where Duet, it's 9 turns, you have to clear 15 green on the board.
Yep.
Like, oh good, like you have to move.
Oh,
you have to get it.
Okay, so Codenames Duet has a turn count.
You can't have those turns of 1. It's like once
Yeah.
in a while you might be able to, but not really. Like it's like you minimum to do every single time.
Yeah, it's a real-time countdown mechanism. You flip a little thing over for each clue that's given.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's very clever.
From my experience, Codenames, the base Codenames, seems to be more of a competitive gamer game with lower player counts. Like if you play it at 4 or 6, it can be pretty dialed in, really thinky. Once you get above that, it becomes a party game because there's too many people talking on both sides. But I feel like that tension is still there when you get 2 really good 2-player teams playing regular Codenames. You'll get it because especially once they get a rhythm going and they know how they give, you know what I mean? Then the game has its own tension that sort of ramps up. This though mechanically enforces it. It sounds like this enforces that tension. So even if you suck, you're still going to have that.
So bad.
And it's easy that like if you wanted to modify it because okay, it's somebody's first game and okay, we'll give them a couple extra turns. That's easy to do. I think the other
Yeah.
amazing thing is that it basically acts as a 200 card expansion for the base game, and the base game acts as a 200 card expansion for Duet. So it's one of those, you're probably going to put them in the same box anyway, and they combine like effortlessly. It's really good, careful plan, really good foresight on CGE's part.
And you could play with pictures, no problem as well. Like
Yeah.
there's zero reason you can do that. So
yeah,
I don't like pictures at all.
it's for different people.
Yeah, I don't know.
I prefer the regular. I prefer words too.
I think I like the puns and the wordplay that come along naturally with just seeing words. And as soon as you involve pictures, you can get away with stuff where people can say something like dots, and then everybody just stares at all the pictures and goes, "Well, this has dots on it. That has dots on it," and it feels like you're giving clues. It feels like pictures feels like it violates the spirit of the game somehow. It doesn't. Obviously, it's it is what it is, but it just feels like it breaks that what I think makes Codenames brilliant. Like pictures just seems like, and so you're absolutely right, Jamie. Like it is just different folks are going to gravitate different ways.
Yeah.
You should just absolutely play it with 8 then, Bill. She just says things like, weird.
That's the thing, like
1. It should go weird. 1. Whimsical. 2. You're like, God damn it, baby. None of these work.
But seriously,
Her and Annabeth should be on a team, and I think they would do perfect.
I have a feeling that those two combined, like between Piper and Annabeth combined, they're
You just take over the world.
Yeah, basically, it would just be a terrifying combination. That would not be okay. Very
so
good.
Ben in the chat is asking where we would put it where we put Duet on the Cubist scale. For me,
I will. I don't know if I've pre-ordered it yet, but I will.
Yeah, it's buy it for me.
Buy it for me too.
I think I'm probably going to get it, but then my question becomes: I already have Codenames and Codenames pictures in the same box, and can I also get Duet into that same box so that way I don't have to have 2 boxes?
You could probably dump the key cards from both of the other ones and just use the Duet ones. And then
that's valid. You don't need all those key cards.
Yeah, I think then you'd make it fit.
Okay, well, and there's the app that randomly generates that anyway, so I already don't.
That wouldn't work with the new one though.
It does not work.
And it has to be. You need to see your side. They need to see their side, and that wouldn't work.
So. Oh, okay. So the app is no point for that.
2 phones, I guess, theoretically, but that's weird.
Yeah, but you got to sync information. That's just gonna get messy.
I'd assume that there will be an option within the app soon.
Probably.
Okay.
It's just you could
about that.
You could just screw that up so easily if you didn't. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
that makes me nervous.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, can I say there's a counterexample within the CGE room of, this is an awesome hit that is going to be spectacular and is so great.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Then what else do we have? That's a question.
Oh, I don't want to hear if it was
shouldn't
horrible.
be a question.
Well, what are we talking about here?
I really have high hopes for it.
All right.
Why?
So it's
Why would you have high hopes
Vlada's
for
next
that?
party game. Because it was Vlada's party game, and games, and blah blah blah. No, this is the next Vlada party game that's releasing this year. We played a prototype there. Did you guys both play it?
Did not.
I did not play it. I watched it play. That
so I played it, and I don't know who browbeat Travis into playing it, but that wasn't really nice because it's absolutely not a trap.
Yeah, I believe that was my fault.
Nice.
Way to go, Kimberly.
Because he was like, no, and then I think you made him, and then he's like, fine. This
is the one with the 3 colored hexagons.
So this is another party game. This is one where you have this weird triangle thing that's 3-sided, and it's color coded with 3 different colors, and each color is a different question. So one of the questions is, which of these 2 things would you miss more if it disappeared from the face of the earth? Or which of these 2 things do you think a person is worse if they did one like this or this? And then the third one was, I don't even remember, but there's 3 different ones. You have these hex cards that you can fit onto this little triangle, and when it's your turn, you grab the nut from somebody else because you have squirrel meeples, which Marty thought was really cool, and he'll buy it.
I mean,
for that.
Of course he didn't.
They're really cute.
They are really cute. So you grab these 2, you put up 2 cards, you grab someone's nut, and now you've asked them the question, and then they have to. I was playing with Kirk, but come on, that was hard. Like with Hughes, it was ridiculous. Yeah.
Sorry,
and then they basically everyone it's Dixit style. Everyone does A or B, so you're guessing what that person is going to choose.
Yes.
And you can triple down on that or double down on that or whatever. And so you've got this token that you can use several times during the game. It can refresh. And you've got another one where you're saying nobody's going to get it right, or I'm going to get points for each person that doesn't choose what they're going to do. So if you are going to make a game, a party game that is a better game to target the Cards Against Humanity-ish kind of a crowd, this could be it. And if you had people that's all they'll play, but you could get them to try this and then you could at least have a decent time, absolutely this would work for them. But most gamers wouldn't really want to do it. I think it could work as a live show for some kind of like board game or media live show and would be fun. But as a regular game, I would be happy not to play that again. So I would forget it. But if I have people in my life that I'm going to have to play games like that sometimes with, like your family or your high school friends or whatever that you see sometimes, then you could buy it for that purpose. I can get those people in my life playing different games that I'd rather play.
So this could work as a transitional sort of the Cards Against Humanity style gateway, like a gateway specifically from that.
The substitute in that space that doesn't have anything to do with regular gaming.
No, right, but that's what I mean. Like that crowd, right? The car that all they want to do is play that sort of thing. If you sort of wanted to push them, nudge them,
conversion.
Yes.
Okay.
It will be cleaner generally, and it will be more fun. Now, the best thing that came out of it is how many times we were able to say, "That's a question," for the rest of the night and the rest of the convention. Again,
that would drive me nuts. Like you'd get away with that about 3 times before I was ready to snap.
Well, that's why there's rules in the game.
Oh, Lord.
You would have snapped in our game.
Okay. So what was a party game that worked from Origins? Didn't everybody go see something in the basement somewhere?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
That was so good.
Yeah, the North Star new release, the Las Vegas Wits and Wagers.
Yes. Just Vegas. Not Las Vegas.
Just Vegas.
Yeah,
I'm
Vegas.
sorry.
No, just
Vegas. Vegas Wits and Wagers. We all allowed Bruce to give us chips and then went to a dungeon. Poker chips.
The pictures of this were wonderful, by the way.
This right now is why I missed Origins so much.
Yep.
Bruce in the basement would have just made my weekend.
Yeah.
He literally gave out poker chips and then we all went to a dungeon. I don't
blindly
I'm not
accepting
sure how we
the big heavy door. Yeah.
We blindly all at a specified time went to a dungeon. It was a little weird.
And then you went and played a game.
Yes, but and we all lived to tell the tale.
Well,
As we were going down the stairs, though, I was like,
This is
"How
not
old are we,
okay.
Bruce?" Yeah.
This is not okay. All right.
It's
So
like-
tell us about Vegas Wits and Wagers.
Yeah, you describe it, Ken. Get it.
So Vegas Wits and Wagers is a little bit of a gamier twist on the regular Wits and Wagers. I like Wits and Wagers just fine, but I think Vegas actually just steps it up, and for me, I don't see any reason to play the regular version anymore. It gives you a very nice large playmat, and it's the same. Here's a question.
That's really good. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and it's not its own box set. You're basically going to get the Vegas playmat and some chips and stuff to add on to Wits and Wagers Party. But it's the same. Every question is going to be answered by a number, and everyone writes down their answers and everything else. But it adds a Vegas-style thing where before anybody's answer is revealed, you can place a bet that somebody's going to be the best answer or the closest answer at 10-to-1 odds, which is great if you think somebody actually knows what they're talking about, and is amazing when somebody's like, "I have no clue." And then after everything's revealed, it's kind of the standard. Here's Wits and Wagers, and you place bets accordingly. You get 100 and a 200, like you normally do, and then there's actually 7 spots on the board for if you're the best in round 1, if you entered most correct, you get a chip. In round 2, you get 2 chips. In round 3, you get 3 chips. Like it tracks that 7 rounds for you automatically now, which is fantastic.
Yeah, which is really nice. It's a clever way of doing it.
Yeah. It includes 500 and 1,000 tokens, which is also really nice. So it makes it a little
because you
easier.
need them quickly.
You do, especially if somebody does some stupid bet and then it pays off. And then you get to watch them lose it all in the last round. Not that happened. But no, it's like it games it just enough in the right kind of way that I was like before it's like, Witch and Wager, it's a fine little game. It's not like, oh my God, I need to play this, but it's like, no, it's fine. Where Vegas Wits and Wagers, I busted it out on Saturday at the game store because I was like, hey, I think you guys will enjoy this, and we had a blast. So
awesome.
I played it last night twice.
We played Basic Party on Saturday. Wits and Wagers Party.
The Neoprone I apparently just had a stroke saying the word. The mat is really nice.
Yes.
It's 2 feet by 3 feet. It's massive. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's
They
bigger
sent us
than
all
that.
home with it.
Yep. And then I emailed
According to
Bruce and begged.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
And what did Bruce say?
He said he'd hook me up. So
There you
Mhm.
go. No, it's really nice. The other really nice thing is if you just want to play regular Wits and Wagers, you can flip it over and it's just regular Wits and Wagers on the other side.
Ah, that's nice.
Yeah, and one of the best things ever is it comes with 2 like do not use little tiny
Mhm.
neoprene mats that you use to cover a spot if someone's not using. Like
Okay.
if we have an even number, so we don't use the middle spot.
Nice.
Yeah, it makes it a little more obvious to just at a quick glance.
That's actually that's a really nice feature.
Oh, the
It
one
is,
other thing
and
is
it's very well. It's done. Well done. I mean, sorry.
how's your stroke?
I'm doing well.
I'm actually really excited for this. Ben pointed out in the chat that I used to run Wits and Wagers as a game show thing at the Hoopla regularly.
Nice.
Like this was a thing I did Wits and Wagers game show for maybe like 5 years, and this sounds like something that I could that would give me a rule set that I would be able to build back into this and sort of reinvigorate that concept with.
The other cool thing is there's now just a block. You can bet that it's going to be higher than the average or lower than the average or lower than the middle, not the average.
So it gives you betting spreads.
Yes.
So high, low, and stuff like that. All right.
Yeah, and it's
cool.
this. Everything's obviously Vegas themed, but it's just a really nice little like it makes it and it just steps it up just in all the right ways.
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited for this. This is good. This is something that I'm probably going to end up picking up then because I like Wits and Wagers. I just wanted first off, I owned the original old version of it, and the questions were pretty horribly outdated. And I'd run it so many times at conventions at that point that I was starting to get to the point where I had to dig through the deck to find cards I hadn't already used, or I was writing my own. So I need to upgrade to Wits and Wagers family anyway. And then while I do that, I might as well.
This is Party.
Yes.
Party. Sorry. Wits and Wagers Party. Not family.
Yeah,
sorry, I said the wrong
Party. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But they're going to be doing a Kickstarter for it, I believe, is the plan. And
During
they want
Gen
people
Con.
like us. Yes, and they want people like us to talk about it. It's fantastic. I'm really happy with it. And if anybody wants to check it out,
gotcha.
I did take pictures or whatever.
By the way, I want to take a moment to wish well to our usual fourth chair, I guess, and all around terrifying / adorable guy, Patrick.
Terrifying guy, Patrick.
Terrifying or adorable.
Or terraforming Patrick.
Yeah, terraforming Patrick.
Cheers for that one.
They're adorable.
Patrick's in the chat room. Patrick, we love you. Get better.
We love you, Patrick.
Patrick's
Don't get cooties.
Having a health day today.
Cooties
So
sucks.
that's why he wasn't able to join us. But I just wanted to say that. And I'm sad because I was hoping that Patrick would be able to be here so we could make jokes about how Pikachu's butt was missing from the show.
Pikachu's butt was missing.
Yes, which is sad. That's all right.
Yeah.
So was the open gaming area.
You can play games, yeah.
Yes.
So they had 9 tables for open gaming, eh? 9?
Yeah, some shit like that. Mhm.
Yeah. It was. There were 9 rectangular tables, and there were a bunch of big round tables on a complete other side of the hall, and they're like 6 feet round. And for some games that's fine, but they were relatively unused from what I could see because A, it's away from everybody else, and B, most of the games people seem to be playing wanted that across the table, and I can reach your side, you can reach mine.
Yeah, oh yeah, those tables are ridiculous to play pretty much anything but minis games.
Yeah.
I would argue
or
that
large group party games.
Yeah, I was going to say, or maybe like big scale, like Battlestar Galactica or something like that, where you have a large player count and lots of
intense eclipse.
Yep, mega eclipse.
7 Wonders actually would work, but yeah,
we didn't even use those tables.
For the most part.
We didn't even use those for our big BSG game either, so that was great.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I definitely complained to somebody there. I was like, all right, I'm all for the board game room ribbon and everything else, but you got to give us some room to play the games we buy and the games we bring.
Mm-hmm.
So was that their reasoning for cutting the open gaming, was to get you into the boardroom?
I don't know that anything was official, but it seemed that way.
Oh, I'm sure they expanded the board game room significantly, but they also just had a ton of dead space.
Yeah.
Could you bring a
so
table in Patrick's red wagon?
Dead space.
No,
somebody actually set up a table and got in trouble.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Somebody went and bought a folding table, and they threatened to take their badge.
Wait,
I saw the guy thrown down with him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. They went
and
and bought a folding table at I don't know where and came back with it, and they threatened to take their badges.
That's great. Vampire: The Eternal Struggle had a table at Origins. Had a number of tables at Origins. It's like this is the CCG has been dead for how many years?
Well, that's like our buddies doing the Shadow Fist, right? Tim and one of my roommates actually, and then Tim Fowler, who's a really nice guy that I finally got to meet there. And he was the one giving. They were the ones giving it the inclusive gamer ribbons. They were doing Shadow Fist, which has been dead, other than them resurrecting it every year at Origins. But they got Buscemi playing it. So
right, but did they have an entire area devoted to them, mapped out for the entirety of the convention?
They had a flag and they had tables.
Right, no, but they had a flag and it was on. Was that more on a fly thing?
No, like that. I'm pretty sure.
They bought tables.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
they had reserved tables.
The Great Wave Games. The Great Wave Games meetup was there on their tables, which is cool. So
there's a lot of that at Origins. It's like reserved tables for things that they were hardly ever being used for.
Yep.
We got bounced from one of those round tables, actually, Ken, because it was reserved for.
You must have been at the wrong round table, which were not marked at all.
No, we also.
I mean, none of them are marked, but I also got bounced from the ones that were supposed to be completely open gaming at one point too, because they told us they oversold the other thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
We also got the we got dirty looks and kind of a weird passive aggressive comment from that lady, the RPG lady sitting next to us when we played Concordia at the table that had the giant gouge out of it.
Oh my gosh, yes, we played the broken table outside of Unpub. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're all broken. The tables are shit in Origins.
Yeah, but there was a gouge, like the edge of the table was missing a piece like this, and there was twisted metal.
Oh yeah,
oh my god!
And twisted.
My tablecloth over, we were good. But...
No, the tables at Origins are actively trying to kill anybody who gets near them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You need a tetanus shot to play games at Origins.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's kind of a shit show, but the people are lovely.
Now, all of that being said,
like great.
Yeah, all of that being said, I never had a problem finding a table somewhere to play, but we were willing to walk a little bit. And like we were creative, and I played games out.
I played at the cafe so often.
I played in the hall, like the various parts of it. Wasn't really the cafe; it's like the edge of the cafe. And we played there in the morning. We played there in the evening. Like most of my gaming happened in the hallways, not in the gaming hall at all.
Right. Yeah. I think this was my 10th Origins, and it's only 2 hours south of me, so it's one of the reasons.
Right.
My first con. I love Origins. If I had to pick between Origins and Gen Con, it'd be Origins, no question. And
even with tables that want to kill you?
Even with tables that want to kill me, even with getting kicked out of tables that are not being used, even with all the construction that was going on last year, even with everything, there was one year where they double booked it with a high school graduation. You want a real fun time?
What?
Just witness that. It was amazing.
They double booked the space with a high school graduation?
Well, it was the whole convention center, so they weren't using parts of the convention center for Origins, so they used it for a high school graduation.
Can you imagine being the people at that high school graduation wondering, and going, what the heck is that?
The looks are amazing. Like, it's one of those, there's issues with it, and Origins I don't think will ever be just perfect, but I love it because the heart's in the right place. It's a ton of fun. You get to see people. Like, I love it. I like it a lot. But
okay, but wait,
it does have issues.
Hold on. Tables that want to kill you. Yes. Overbooking with other events or double booking with other events on a regular basis, lack of open gaming space, which that last one is fine, right? Because that might not be their mission statement. Like some conventions, I mean, I personally, it's a pass for me, but whatever. But
deal breaker for me, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even with all of that, this is the best convention, huh?
Doesn't it seem more friendly though? I mean, just the people wise than what you hear about Gen Con and what and that's what I always sitting on the outside in. I've always thought that about Origins, regardless of what you say about I'm going to go home and pick Splinters for 3 weeks. I want to go to Origins before I want to go to Gen Con.
You're taking a piece of Origins home with you. That's all that is. No, it's one of those Origins.
I literally ripped my shirt open last year, Brandon. I leaned forward on the table, got it caught, it ripped my shirt completely open.
Oh, jeez. I wish I would have been there for no other reason.
But, Origins is, to me, Origins is a board game convention. You get to go, I mean, there's exhibitors, you get to do demos, but at night you get to hang out with people and play games. Gen Con, to me, feels like a board game trade show. It's not so much about hanging out and playing games and having a good time. It's buy this, look at this, buy this. It's running around it's the show, it's the it's the experience. Where Origins is just hanging out and it's fun.
Okay.
Well, what I said on the podcast is to this point, like specifically there, if you want to go and meet people in the board game industry and have a chance to have a chat and hang out just as a regular person or as another podcast or whatever, this is the place to do it. Because I had extended conversations with a whole bunch of people from all different kinds of podcasts, and the Rodneys and the Secret Cabal guys and the Blue Peg Pink Peg people, and I played games with them too. And that's a convention where these kinds of things can happen.
Yes.
Whereas most of them they can't. And
so, I would counter that BGG is better. For
that's
that,
what. Yeah.
Well, yes, but
it sells out.
Completely different.
Yes.
Right.
I can't drive there conveniently or get bus trips. And
Right. Okay. So, but my point is, this is the more accessible. And Mitchell in the chat actually just mentioned that comparing Origins to Gen Con might not be fair because of their completely different animals. And I think so. But yeah, comparing Origins to BGG sounds like a more similar comparison, except for BGG is space tight.
But isn't Origins is more like Gen Con. It's a selling. It's a industry.
It is more of a selling
show.
Yes,
that's an interesting hybrid.
BGG is a game playing con.
Yes.
With coming in to sell.
Right, and it's kind of like on a spectrum where BGG is the least about buying and the most about playing. Origins for me is a lot more about playing, and there's some buying. Gen Con, the experience is buying.
It is, but Origins itself is more like Gen Con.
Origins is absolutely the Origins game fair.
Yes,
because there's a lot of interesting stuff happening, but it's just not at the pace. And
it's more relaxed.
Absolutely, it's relaxed. Yeah.
One of my biggest complaints is that they close the gaming hall really early.
Yeah,
that's not great.
At Origins again.
At Origins, they close the hall early. Okay. Right, like at BGG, it's open 24 hours, which is why I thought to do the same for Granite Game Summit. 24 hours is necessary. This year, they let us stay in the room until midnight to game, I guess, and they were a little bit more laid back. Last year, we had some pretty bad experiences with people coming around and being like, pack your stuff up 40 minutes before the room closed. So
the bar on 2 was still hopping with people doing various things all night.
Bar on 2 is always
stuff too. So
the bar 2 is always hopping. Yeah,
I think I was just going to give midnight, and I think Friday closed at 1 a.m. But still, I think there needs to be a space for
midnight. All night. Yeah, there should be at least a small location for all night games.
It's not like overnight gaming is some sort of brand new thing, right? That people have only recently started doing. I mean, this has been a thing that conventions, as far back as I can remember, have always struggled with. Is how do we deal with the people that still want to play games at 4 a.m? Because there is always that segment, and it seems like some conventions get it and some are resistant to it. And I wonder if it's the venue. As much like the venues sometimes are like, no, we're not okay with this. This is just not a thing we're going to do.
Yeah.
So, and then once you get above a certain size, that you lose your bargaining power there, right? Like the venue, you only have so many venues that can fit you. And so if the venue says, no, we're not doing that, well, then I guess that's just a thing you're not doing.
It is. It's tough. It was difficult to fight for leaving our gaming hall open 24 hours.
Yeah, for sure.
On the gaming side, I do want to give credit to a couple of where I found the 2 most comfortable places to play in the whole place were the CGE room was off. Yeah. It was a nice section off there.
CGE room is great.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And the Rio Grande room. The Rio Grande room was really well done for that too. And they even had free fruit for people one time when I happened to be walking by trying to find people so I could get it.
They were good too.
It was good.
And Unpub.
The Rio Grande
room. I think Unpub. The Unpub room was well done too.
The Rio Grande room worked. I did pick up my copy of Navigador after we played it there because it's fantastic.
I need to play that again.
It's a good game.
I played it once a long time ago and loved it, and then nobody ever had a copy, and it sort of faded past.
I played it with Jamie.
All right, so the 3 of you that were there, we're going to wrap up because we're long, and Kimberly hasn't started yelling at us yet, which is amazing. So let's wrap up. I know.
Can I just tell you? Bill? Can I tell you about one game that I think you need to know about?
Absolutely.
Is this the one I want to know about?
I don't know, but it's the one I talked about a bit. I played a game randomly after we played Concordia, I think, outside the Unpub room. Another person that had tables outside the Unpub room was Inside Up Games with a guy named Connor McGoey from Thunder Bay, Ontario. Really nice guy. I'd met him at Breakout Con, but I hadn't actually seen, he wasn't demoing this one. This was a Kickstarter last year, coming out later this year, called Summit the Board Game. And
Summit the Board Game?
The board game. It's a board game about climbing Everest. You can play it in one of 3 ways. You can play it solo. where you're just trying to go up, you're coming down. You can play it cooperative, or you can play it competitive. And the cooperative, it's got like tessellating tiles that you're building up, so it's got a bit of exploration, kind of Robinson Crusoe-like, as you're building your way up and you're moving. You've got to roll weather and event dice at the end of each turn. And the events are very Robinson Crusoe inspired as well. Sure. Like we had Sherpas die on us and stuff like that. But the competitive, so it's really good on all those fronts, and I think you really like it from either. But the competitive one adds a karma track, where you get these events and you can play them to help and gain karma and points for the end game, or play negative events on people and then it comes down. So that looked really cool. I jumped in and played some of a cooperative game, and it was fun. We enjoyed it. But I think that you have all three. I think it's going to be a hit, and it's got recessed like side-like boards for where you're tracking your weight and your oxygen and your food and stuff. And it's a good graphic design as well. I think he's got a hit on his hands, and it was getting some good buzz around the convention too.
It was getting good buzz. Yep.
Maybe we'll chase him. Maybe we'll chase him down and see if we can drag him out of the show. That sounds amazing.
I can hook you up with him. So
I'm ready. All right, you heard it here first. It's Jamie's fault if he isn't on the show in a month. Just throwing that out there. All right. No, that absolutely. So
sorry, Jamie.
I like it.
That absolutely does sound like something I would dig. I love the idea of solo, competitive, and cooperative all in one rule set. With, some tweaks, obviously, but the idea.
Separate sets of cards, but it works.
Right. That sounds awesome. Very cool.
Can I say one thing about that real quick?
Yes.
I will be quick.
Oh my goodness.
Lost Expedition from Osprey is another one of those that's solo, cooperative, or competitive. Competitive is 2-player only. Cooperative's up to 5. You're working your way through a jungle. It is hard as hell, and the art's great. The components are really nice, but it's just a really fun. I need to do this now so that in 3 turns I don't get completely wrecked, and then in 2 turns you end up dying anyway.
It's hard. It is the grizzled hard. It is.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
I like hard as long as there are good experience moments in the middle, right? Like as long as you can pull off cool stuff where even if you lose, it's like that was amazing. I'm totally okay with hard when it comes.
I've only played it solo.
I wanted to bring it up.
Yep.
Have you played it with multiple people? I've only played it solo, so
I've only done solo.
Okay,
but it's very good.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
All right. And Kimberly's looking at me like,
no more one last things because Kimberly's going to snap, and it's not my fault. I'm just. Oh, Brandon,
I love you.
Silence. All right, here we go. Really fast as wrap up. We're not even going to do rapid fire. We're going to pull Ken back on the show and do a rapid fire next time. But really fast wrap up. Jamie, let's throw Origins on the Cubist scale because why not? We'll rate it as conventions go for you. Is this a must? Like buy it would be like must attend. Play it would be like sure. Forget it is. Burn it is no. Where you land.
For me, it is a play it because I think if you want that blend of all the different sides, then it's got all of it and it's got the accessibility. And for me, it's not too far away. And I think you could bring family there if they're into the game fair side. For me, until my family or unless my family ever gets into the game fair side, I'd rather go to game playing cons going forward. So that's for me. But with all the great people that I met from like 30-something states at Origins.
Sure.
So this helped me connect to people that now I'd rather go play games with them in other places.
Gotcha.
Rather than this setting, because it is, as we mentioned, not the ideal setting for this.
We will welcome you with open arms at BGG.
Yep.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
For you, Origins on the scale. What do you think?
It's a 2-hour drive. It's my first real gaming convention, and despite all the issues it has, I'm not gonna I have to keep going. I love the show, and it kind of knocks up. It starts off the whole convention season for me. So for me, I'm gonna keep going. That's not even a question.
Buy it for you. Very good, Kimberly.
It's a forget it for me.
Yeah. You'd be okay not going back?
I don't intend to go back.
Okay. Got it.
No, I like the people.
Mm-hmm.
And the proximity to food. It's not, I don't think it's like terrible. I think that it's had continual issues that they refuse to address. And as a person who does this now, runs conventions, it's troublesome. They should be seeking to make it a better show, and I don't think they actively are. When they do that, then
gotcha.
It's a gamma thing, isn't that? That's their
yes.
That's their trademark, right?
That's their trademark. Is we're going to do this, and you're going to come whether you like
Whether
it or
you
not.
like it or not,
You don't
whether
care.
it's done well or not.
We know,
Yeah,
we
it
know you're
wasn't-
going to be there. Oh,
It's a
okay.
gamut.
Yeah, it was definitely. It was between just my 2 years of going. It had gone downhill in multiple ways, and I think that
And that's
they really need to
and-
step it up a little.
yeah. And I see where you're coming from. I think if you're 2 hours away,
That's
have family
completely
over there.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of
Yeah.
us would be traveling, though, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
anytime a convention becomes a local con, that automatically bumps it up some, right? If
It's so different.
right,
Yeah.
because then it's no longer a struggle or a thing, right? Like even if you wanted to go, well, maybe for a single night, it's not unthinkable to drive a couple hours, go for one day and a night, and stay, and then come back the next day or something. You can do that.
Yeah.
That's not a thing you can do when you've got
Right.
It's not realistic once you start flying. So I get that.
If it was 2 hours away, absolutely, I would go every year.
Right.
So
For sure. For sure.
I mean, I would go
Yep.
to see people probably one
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, and that's
Here we go.
So now
Yeah.
the struggle is now all we need to do is we need to make Geekway that. You know what I mean? Because I feel like Geekway is pushing towards being that blend that you guys are looking for. No, you don't think so?
We don't need the vendors that much.
I don't care.
That's true.
I don't think
That's
that Geekway is ever going to go as vendor heavy. I
They-
could be wrong, but
well-
judging from my people I know through Geekway, I
Yeah.
know they are going more vendor heavy.
Yes, but no, it doesn't need to be an Origins type of show.
Gotcha.
You just need to get Paul Grogan out as a vendor.
There you go.
That's the only
That's
reason.
true.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We essentially
Yeah.
traveled just to see Paul.
I'm starting to think that Paul Grogan adds like 20% extra awesome to everything he shows up to. No, I'm serious. With
He
how
really
hard
will.
that man works every time he goes to a show,
He's ridiculous.
he's ridiculous anyway, but also he works really hard, right? Like, I mean, those
Yes.
are not, those are two separate
Although
issues.
he's almost figured that out now.
Yeah, I know. I saw his
They
tweets
work
right
at
after
Gen Con,
Origins.
he's actually figured it out.
Yes, I'm very much
Mm.
looking
But I
forward to that.
think he'll still have issues.
Paul's the bomb. We love him.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes, we do.
quick plugs before we get out of here. Left to right, Brandon. More stuff about you online. Where do they go?
I'm disappointed none of you mentioned werewords.
We play inside.
Too much
Yeah.
drama for tonight.
Yeah, you know what? We'll make a point of talking about it next
Wrap
week. We really will.
it. Love you.
Yes, we're trying. Brandon, plugs, go.
I am Brandon Kemp from the What Did You Play This Week podcast. You can find me there on the What Did You Play This Week podcast or, Twitter. I don't know. I've been drinking. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Nice.
Get it.
Holy cow. Have another beer.
Okay.
Jamie.
Hey, I'm Jamie Maltman. I contribute to the What Did You Play This Week podcast every week, talking about learning from and through board games. I'm Jay Maltman on Twitter is the best place to find me, and I do have a jamiemaltman.com website if you want to know about my writing, but that's not to do with this.
Nice. Ken.
I am demo_Ken on Twitter and on Instagram. You can see my stuff at geek-craft.com. I actually just did my post about games I've played from Origins today. So yeah,
And he
I
bought
have to
some
talk about
really,
stuff like that.
he bought some really pretty colored thread. I'm just throwing that out there. This is me. I'm going to put you on the spot, Ken. We're going to make this happen.
Thread?
You bought thread.
Thread.
Blue and gold
Thread.
thread.
Bags.
For Santa.
Oh, yes.
And we'll
yes.
get
Hey,
Oh,
those
that's
bags
right.
were awesome.
That was some
man.
time ago.
Yes, we'll get we haven't had a chance to talk since then. Very good.
No,
Yeah, check out
no.
geek-crap.com. He does really cool stuff.
Yep.
Kimberly.
He did some.
I am at KJ Revia on Twitter as well as Instagram, I think, and granitegamesummit.com. And at G2 Summit on Twitter.
I like the jazz hands. Does
And
that
we're
help?
going
There you
to
go.
announce our next multi-day this week. So
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah,
woo.
you can go to billsbirthdaybash.com. That will also still take you there. I'm leaving that up for the whole year, even though my
So
birthday
this
is
time
gone.
it's closer to Patrick's birthday bash. I'm just putting that out there.
I'm not registering
Patrick's
birthday
Day.
bashes for everybody. Folks, if you want to know more about the show, you can hit up thecubistpodcast.com. All of our stuff is on there. You can follow me personally at Bill Corey Jr. You can follow the show at Cubist Podcast. Check out the website. We put a lot of cool stuff into it. The storefront is right up on the top.
Sorry, Bill.
Bar. No problem. Buy merch. The shirts are cool. New shirts are coming within the next few days. So keep half an eye on that, and we'll make some announcements about it. Watch next week, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be giving away some swag. You're not going to want to miss it. For those of you that are dropping out early, you're going to miss it.
Brandon is so drunk.
Check out the show next week, and
No, I'm not.
We will catch up.
I got Seagram's drunk.
Oh boy! Wow. Yeah, that was There's
That
a,
was a
there's a
night.
story for another show. Everybody have a fantastic night. We will catch you all again next time. Behave yourselves and be good. See